PS5 Slim, is it still worth it in 2025? Is it better than the Xbox Series X? What are some of its best features? And should you consider buying it? We'll answer all of those questions in this video. So let's get to it. How's it going, everyone? My name is Musa Nziane. I'm a South African tech YouTuber. So if you like reviews, unboxings, and tips on cool tech, be sure to subscribe to this channel and also follow me on other social media platforms. So I'm an Xbox gamer and I've been using Xbox for a long time, for over a decade now. I've used the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, and now the Xbox Series X. But this past December holidays, I swapped my Xbox Series X for a friend's PS5 Slim, and I thought I should make a review on it. So this is a PS5 Slim review from an Xbox gamer. So this should be interesting. And first, let's talk the design. So the PS5 Slim takes somewhat the same shape as the first PS5 that was introduced. However, it has a thinner or a slimmer and lighter profile. So it looks a bit better than the original PS5. Many people didn't really like the original PS5. Other people said it looks like a tower. Other people said it looks like a Wi-Fi router and all of those kind of things. But I think the PS5 Slim looks a little bit better. So it is somewhat an upgrade from the original PS5. So it's not that bad. What I like about it is the gloss finish in the middle there. I know a lot of people don't like it because it catches a lot of fingerprints, but I like gloss and jet black finish. I even have a gloss Apple Watch Series 10. If you want to watch a review on that, look on the description. I am going to link it up. So I think it's not bad. Plus, a console is not something that you constantly touch. Yes, it will get dust there and there, but with a wipe, I think it should work. But I'm not sure of this white color. Ideally, if I were to buy a PS5, I would change the plates and buy matte finish black plates so that it looks all black, almost like the Xbox Series X. And that is why I prefer the Xbox Series X. I think I just love that whole matte finish. I think it looks a bit more premium. However, I think the white color on the PS5 Slim is what makes it stands out. I've spoken about this on my review of the Xbox Series X. Look on the description if you haven't watched that. I mentioned that the Xbox Series X does not stand out from your setup. Most people won't even notice it, but the PS5, because it's white, it lights up. People will likely notice the PS5 in your living room over the Xbox Series X. The other thing that I like about this PS5 is it has some LEDs. So I think those are pretty cool. So when it's on standby, I think it will have more like an orange color. And when you switch it on, it has that blue LED. And I like the fact that it is not all over on your face. So it just lights up there and there. So that is it in terms of the design of the PS5 Slim. So let's talk about the PS5 controller. It is very much innovative. And I think this is my favorite thing about the PlayStation 5. So if you compare the PS5 DualSense controller with the PS4 controller, the PS4 was more light and it was a little bit smaller. It would not fit your hands, or at least my hands, the way that I would have loved it to. But if you look at the PS5 DualSense, they sort of bumped it up a little bit. Now it is a bit bigger and I think it fits much better. And it fits on my hands a little bit better. And in addition to that, they've also added some cool stuff. They've added some haptic feedbacks and also some adaptive triggers. So haptic feedbacks basically give you different feedbacks depending on what game you are playing. So for example, if you're playing a game where you are riding a horse, you can almost feel the surface where you are riding the horse because it sends you these haptics and these vibrations on the controller. So that is pretty cool. And I think it immerses you a bit more onto the game. The adaptive trigger allows you to almost feel. So let's say, for example, you are pulling a bow or you are shooting, you almost feel how resistant the bow is or how resistant the trigger is. So that is also pretty cool. They've also added an onboard speaker on the controller. So what I like, what they did here is with the speaker on the controller, you can hear things such as when you draw your sword, when you are shooting. So they just selected some sounds that you can hear. So if you're on combat and you are fighting, you can almost hear the sounds of the swords or the fists on the controller. So I think that is also cool, and it just enhances the whole experience of the gameplay. And the first time when I experienced these haptics and these adaptive triggers, I was thinking, okay, maybe I bought the wrong console. But over time, I got used to it. And yeah, it's kind of cool because it enhances the experience. But that's just about it. And also the trade-off for all of these haptics and all of these features is the battery life. So unfortunately, because you have all of these things going on there, I find that the controller dies out quickly. And that's one thing that I do not like. And also when you charge it, if you're gonna charge it for like 30 minutes for like a quick charge, again, it would die quicker again. So it's almost like it needs an overnight charge for you to get at least a bit more hours. So obviously that is the trade-off for all of these features. And what they also did is they removed that big LED light and then they just put one LED light that just surrounds the touchpad on the middle there, which I think is also pretty cool. The touchpad is also useful because it allows you to access different tools on the different games as well. So it's just another extra input that you have. And I think on a controller, you can never have enough inputs, especially for accessing different weapons and different tools or maps and stuff like that. So I love the controller, but obviously it has its downside, and that is the battery life. And I've also spoken about this on my Xbox Series X review, that I somewhat to some degree prefer using Duracell batteries because those would take on months without the need to charge again. So that is it in terms of the controller. So now let us speak the storage. So the storage is a 1TB SSD, and I think this is a good thing because the original PS5 only had about 850 gig, if I'm not mistaken. So I felt that was not enough, and it was one of the reasons why I didn't opt for the PS5. I felt 850 won't be enough if you consider that you still need space for the OS, space to save game data as well. So 1TB, I think it's a little bit better. And also the PS5, I'm told that upgrading the storage is much cheaper compared to the Xbox Series X, which uses expansion cards that are quite costly. I think maybe what I prefer on the Xbox is that you just slot it in like a memory card, but with the PS5, I think you have to remove the plates or something like that. It's not that complicated, but it's not like a plug and play like on the Xbox. So those are the differences in terms of the storage upgrades and options. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying this video, please remember to hit a like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Let's continue. So let's speak the graphics and performance. So the PS5 is pretty good. It doesn't lag in terms of performance and graphics output. It has a very good CPU, very good GPU, and some good RAM as well going on there. A GDDR6 16 gig RAM, same as the Xbox Series X, and it can also output 4K gaming, and it can also play at 120 frames per second. Obviously, that depends on which games support these resolutions. And also the other thing that the PlayStation now has is quick resume. So now you can be able to pause games, jump into another game, then come back later, and then you resume right where you were playing. But all in all, nothing to complain about. I think this current generation of consoles had enough specs when they were launched about 5 years ago. Maybe right now, because it's 5 years later, you might feel like you can do with a little bit more graphics and a little bit more performance. I guess that's why now there is the PS5 Pro, which just bumped things up a little bit. But all in all, I don't have much to fault it on. So what are some of the cool things and the advantages of the PS5? I guess obviously over the Xbox Series X. The first one, the UI. The PS5 has a very smooth and more intuitive UI. I just love the whole layout. I just like how smooth and polished the whole UI is. I'd definitely go with this UI over the Xbox any day. And as someone who likes aesthetics, I think this was one of the other things that made me feel, okay, maybe I should have went with the PS5, but that's just about it. I guess you can somewhat customize your Xbox UI so that it looks close to what the PS looks like, but that's just about it. The PS just has a much better UI. The other thing is, I think in terms of titles, in terms of exclusives, the PlayStation, I think it has slightly better exclusives compared to the Xbox. The Xbox also has some cool exclusives, but I think the PlayStation exclusives are just a little bit better than the Xbox exclusives. Your Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted, and others. And really, one exclusive that I played was Ghost of Tsushima. What a game. I enjoyed this exclusive, and for some reason I started playing it first and I just couldn't put the controller down. I just went on and I just played this whole thing. I think the first weekend that I had the PS5, I just went on it. The combat there is just so good. The storyline is just so good. The map is much more compact. I think maybe it's because it's just an island, but I enjoyed this game so much. I didn't even get a chance to play other titles. The others I just tested them, maybe play for like an hour or two. But really, Ghost of Tsushima, what a game. I was blown away. I really enjoyed it so much. And I think it has also contributed to why I was really enjoying having this PS5 over the holidays. And what is it that I do not like about the PS5 is overheating. This PS5 Slim that I've had was new when I had it. My friend had just bought it about a week ago over Black Friday when we exchanged. If you know, in SA, December time, it's very hot. And because it was super hot, this thing was already making a lot of noise. Now, yes, I can blame it on the fact that it was hot, but my Xbox Series X, which I've had for so many years, it never makes this kind of noise when it's hot. It can make minimal noise, and even then it took years before it started making some fan noise. But yeah, the PS5, I'm not sure what is the issue there. Maybe it's because it's slim or something like that. I don't know what is the issue there. But yeah, you would hear the fan noise. This thing is a bit loud, especially for a console that is new, because sometimes the loudness is caused by dust. There was a time with my Series X, there was a time when it was a bit louder and I had to open it and clean it up. And once I've wiped off all of the dust, and then it went back to almost like when it was new, and it was less noisy. But yeah, the PS5 is noisy. And now let us talk about game library and game subscriptions. So like I said, I think PlayStation has good exclusives, so on that you cannot fault it. And when it comes to the PlayStation Network, I'd say looking at it from PS4 or from the early days of the PS5, right now it has improved a lot. I think it got bigger, it got better, but I think the Xbox Game Pass is still very much ahead of the PlayStation Network. And this is also because Microsoft went and buy a lot of gaming studios, and now there is more games now that are available on Game Pass, and also more games that you can play on day one. And I mean, recently we played Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on day one on Game Pass. So those kind of things still make Game Pass a better library. I think also because Game Pass can also access from PC as well. And yes, I know that recently Microsoft has announced that some of the Xbox exclusives will be heading to PlayStation, and the recent announcement is Forza Horizon 5. So Xbox is basically changing the whole strategy. They are not pro exclusives. I also highlighted this on my Xbox review. So some of these games, yes, they will be going to PlayStation, and a lot of people also think that console wars are over. PlayStation has won. I think, yes, from a console war standpoint, yes, PlayStation has won in that sense, because some or all of the exclusives will be moving to PlayStation, but we don't know by when, we don't know how long it's gonna take, and we don't even know if we'll be getting, if the whole series, for example, of Halo will be moving to PlayStation, and how long will it take to actually move all of that. And if on day one you'll also be able to play all of those exclusives via PlayStation Network, which I doubt. I think you will still need Xbox Game Pass, which is where the value of the Xbox will still be. It will be that you'll be able to have Xbox Game Pass and you can still play these titles on day one. Also, Phil Spencer on his recent interview has mentioned that he also wants to create hardware that people will love. So he also wants to create hardware that can actually compete. So it might mean that also the next Xbox console might actually look or might actually be ahead or have some cool features that will make people want to buy the Xbox over the PlayStation. It might be that the hardware choice might still lead some people to the Xbox as well. Obviously, Game Pass as well. I think even if you'll be able to play these games on PlayStation, the Xbox exclusives, I think it will be more expensive on the PlayStation than to play them on the Xbox, because you can play them on Game Pass. So those kind of things. Now, should you still consider buying the PS5 Slim in 2025? I'd say yes, you can still go for it. It's still pretty much capable. It has all of the performance. It can play all of the latest exclusives. Now Forza Horizon is also coming as well. Maybe if you're an Xbox fan, that might also be another reason why you might want to be interested in now going over to the PlayStation. However, some of the things that you need to make note of, or some of the things to remember, is that the PS5 is now almost 5 years old, so a newer version should be coming in the next 2 years or so. Probably, I'm guessing that the lifespan of the PS5 will probably be between 3 to 5 years. So that's something to make note of. I think if you want a bit more time, perhaps the PS5 Pro might be an option for you, so that you can at least push it maybe to like 6 years or so. But you can still consider buying the PS5 Slim in 2025. And that is it. We've come to the end of this review of the PS5 Slim. Let me know if you're using a PS5, what are some of your favorite things, and what are some of the things that you do not like. And let me know if you're considering upgrading to the PS5 Pro. And also let me know what you think of the news of Forza Horizon coming to PlayStation and potentially Halo and other Xbox exclusives. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. I'll catch you on the next one.